What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to Shooting the Shit Uncensored. I'm your host, the dad bod god, the bald, the beard, and the fucking beautiful Piers Austin. And tonight, man, we got a fun one for you guys. We got the returning Tyson Gibbs, and I'm telling you, every time I get to have a talk with Tyson Gibbs or hang out with Tyson, it's always a bang-on-fire conversation. And guys, that's why we'll run late, because we just got going. Oh shit, look at the time, but we're here now. And before we get into this conversation, I need to take a quick second to tell you about sleefs.com. That's SLEEFS, sleefs.com. If you or someone you know is an athlete, you need to go and check out Sleeves. They've got all your athletic gear and wear covered. They've got your armbands, compression pants, compression shorts, headbands, boots, mouthguards, and those dirty boxes that you always know that your boy Piers is rocking. So do yourself a favor, go and check out sleeves.com. Go get yourself some dirty boxes. Use that promo code MWAPOD to get a 10% discount on your final purchase. Also, wherever you're tuning in, I appreciate you. If you're tuning in on YouTube, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, all that good shit. If you're listening on a podcast platform, please give us a 5-star review. It helps with our analytics. It helps us bring more amazing fucking conversations to more amazing motherfuckers like you guys. So please, get to clicking. And this podcast comes to you free twice a week, every single week, every Tuesday and Thursday, with different guests from people involved in the world of professional wrestling, MMA, boxing, Muay Thai, entertainment, comedy, you name it. So please, if you want to support, you can do so by sending in super stickers on YouTube, get bits and shit on Twitch, or you can go and buy some merch. Head over, the links are in the description. But guys, we appreciate you. But without further ado, let's get into our conversation with the one and only Tyson fucking Gibbs. Boom. Bert Selleck back on the
That's
podcast.
me.
Bro, I gotta
Mr.
say,
Austin.
man, bro, I gotta say, I gotta start this off like straight off the bat. When I saw you at the last show, like EWA show, bro, like, and I saw you walk into the locker room, I had like a full-on like conversation with you for like 2 minutes, and I swore you were one of those like those Mo Bro guys from Wollongong. I thought you were Keto, bro. I was like, fuck, man, Keto's looking swole.
Someone's getting complimented there.
Yeah, bro. There you go.
Let's call it a wait. Before we wait, let me just get these off before we get started.
That was an insult. Oh, the gloves are off, bro.
Yeah, buddy. I've got
Festivus
is coming early today. Got some grievances to wear, some shoot to shoot. Uncensored,
Damn.
buddy. Let's go. How are you, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm good. But like my point I was getting to, bro, like it was no knock on Keto or yourself, bro, but like you changed the look completely, bro. You had the beard going strong, brother.
Yes.
Strong. And then you like walked in, have that big dirty slug across the bottom, the top lip there, mate. What inspired the change, bro?
I think it's getting over. Honestly, it's just I don't know. It's something I toyed with. I toyed with chopping the whole thing off, and I went, nah, let's hang on to a bit. I think we can make this work. And I tell you, I think it's going to stay for a while. I think it's
yeah, man.
I think it's over.
It's good. Yeah, I think so, man. I think so. It's pretty good, man. And I think all good heels, like all good bad guys in the history, like of entertainment or everything, have always got like a mustache or something. If you look back at like the old school villains in movies and shit.
Yeah, it certainly adds it ups the dastardly factor, right? I'm scheming
100%
constantly.
But dude, like you've been now training at being a trainer for the new school, right? Out at
Mhm.
Moorbank. So
Yeah,
like
just
what's the go there, man? Like who are you, the owner of this gym, bro? Like where does this whole thing come
I
for you, bro?
no, mate. I'm an employee. It's a subsidiary of Australian Wrestling Superstars, so it's the Australian Wrestling School out at Moorbank. So anyone out there that's interested, I'm talking about newbies, people that want to give it a go, people that just want to take a few bumps, see what that's all about. But what I'd really like to focus on is taking people who are already working. Come and sharpen up your skills. Let's come and work together. Let's create like a nice little community. Um, yeah, it's at Moorbank. If you've got any inquiries, you can hit me up on Tyson Gibbs Facebook, King Tyson Gibbs on Instagram, if that's your preference. And the same goes for Australian Wrestling Superstars. Send them a message and we'll hook something up. We're now adding more classes. So we've got at least 3 classes a week. And with the view to really open that place up. And I've got a few extra trainers now that are helping out and sharing the load there and giving people a bit more flexibility to, come in when it suits them. I mean, we've all got real shoot lives. So,
Mm.
you've got to make space for that. But man, this week in particular was really good, really happy. Good class, great session. And just like, I'm just feeling really nice and charged on it again, man.
Yeah, man. It's almost like it's rejuvenated your love for the game, though, right? Like
Yeah.
I mean, like speaking to you at the EWA show and even speaking to you before we went live tonight, it's like you can see how much passion that's like started to come back into it. If we look back to our like first conversation, where I think when you were
Mm.
sort of coming back here, just dipping your toe back in, and then it's like
Mhm.
now to see the difference in, like you can really see the passion has really lit a spark up in you.
Oh yeah, buddy. I sort of, like you say, dipping the toe in April of last year. So we're coming up on a year since the like comeback. And Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I've came back with the idea of like, how can I help improve the scene? Like, how can I, help everyone work, like, you know, build like a more professional scene. Um, Heaven forbid one day we make some good money in this, mate. And I think that comes
100%.
with upping the standard, regular training, training with people that you don't train with, just sharpening up the skills people already have. um, but yeah, basically it's just a matter of repetition, keeping people regular,
Mm.
because like, I don't know, man, like I feel like a lot of people, on the local Sydney scene, you work every couple of weeks or a couple of times a month or something like that. And if you can come in every
Yeah.
week, a couple of times a week, practice those bumps, keep everything crisp, start working stuff on the fly. It can only help. Um,
Oh, 100%, man. And I think it as well, I think it keeps you crisp, but it also gives you that thing where I mean, I think like when you're training someone and you're going over it and even teaching it over and over and
mm,
over again, like it
mhm.
must make you, like your skill level as well, sharpen up so much better as well, right?
100%, man. Because I've got to demonstrate basically everything that I do physically, right? And it's been
Mm.
really good for me. I'm jumping in doing drills with the boys too on, like, there's sessions other trainers are running. I'll come in every now and then and just participate in the class just for my own benefit. I feel like my
Yeah.
bumping is crisp as right now, dude. I feel like my timing is back to where I wanted it to be, maybe better than I expected to get to. Um,
Mm.
and sometimes like, because we've got that facility available to us anytime, like there's been times when I've just sort of, with one of the newer guys, let's just wrestle, let's just go for it, let's see what's there and pick it up.
Mm.
Man, there's sometimes you'll be wrestling like a match or just going through it, just up and down, take the momentum backwards and forwards, and we've been wrestling for 45 minutes, man. Like, um, it's good. Like I feel like I'm doing this as frequently as I always wanted to, and to have this facility. It's an amazing place too, man. Like it's fully
Right.
kitted out. We've got so much great equipment. We've got a great ring there. Yeah. Yeah, like you said, man, I'm just happy as I'm fully immersed in it again.
What's like AWS, man? Like has started to get a decent roster behind it as well, man. Like, how is it working for those shows? Because that's pretty much like the promotion you're working for on a monthly basis right now, right?
Yeah, yeah. So they basically because we've had the place to train, we've had like people coming in regularly. So those people are, we've got some really good talent to work with now.
Yeah.
The roster itself, it's a good mixture of like veterans as well as like some new guys with some good skills, some good athletic guys. So the building blocks there of like a nice, I don't know, I feel like it's going to feel like fresh. It's going to feel refreshed. Actually, while we're on the subject, next Friday, March 17th at Mortdale RSL, that's going to be the first AWS show for the year. Little tournament on for the big belt. And if you're in the area or if you're not, come on into the area. Come and see it. Come and see what's going on, because I feel like this is going to be a very unique brand, particularly in the Sydney scene. It's going to really try and bridge that gap between like sort of a few generations of fans.
Yeah, man. And I think that's cool. Like it can, have a good mixture of up and coming talent and veterans. And, looking at some of the card, like, that they've released for the show, it's looking like a pretty stacked card as well. Unfortunately I was actually booked to be on the show, but to be there with my boy Vinny. But unfortunately I've got my son's birthday party that night, and family comes first.
He's going to miss your managerial skills, your client.
I have to.
You're leaving your client
mate,
out to dry, mate.
He's got it covered, mate.
Yeah.
Not at all,
I'm really
mate.
looking forward to it.
I might have a few things up my sleeve.
Oh, here we go.
But no, I am disappointed. I am disappointed. I will be missing that show though. Like, genuinely.
Yeah.
But
I'm really looking forward to it. And if we do well, we've already got some interest in a few other venues booking us, and getting some regular stuff together. Got some good plans. This stuff's better to be seen rather than talked about in the present tense. So, yeah, if you can get there on the 17th, I think what's doors at 7:30, 7:45 bell, something like that. Just get there.
Yeah, I think so.
It's going to be really cool.
Check it out. It's a night of wrestling. Exactly. But man, like we started off this show, man. You said you had some grievances, to air.
Some grievances.
Let's get into that, man. Like some grievances. Man. Sorry, yeah, you had some grievances to air, man. What's been going on?
Well, dude, like I feel like when I came back into this, I was sort of like I felt fresh again, like new again. I don't think that I had like that familiarity with the people that I probably left when I left about 4 years ago to go and pursue other things. And, you're trying to be cool, you're trying to play nice with people, but I've run into, how do I put this? Some resistance from people who could benefit from guidance who do not necessarily value it. We'll say people that aren't very experienced in the business, that, like I said, man, my whole coming back thing was about trying to make things better. I've had people like don't get me wrong, lots of good, lots of great. It's these little things along the way that have kind of pissed me off, where someone will hit you up and you don't realize it until later. They're just paying you lip service just in case you're an important guy, just in case you can get them a booking, just in case, keeping the wheels greased with you is worth something to them. And it doesn't take long to realize who those people are. So 100%. Someone will hit you up. I know I've had this happen, a couple of times now, where someone will hit me up and they'll say, hey, I've been on a show with them, or they've done a show recently and they want me to, give them some notes on their match, right? Tell me what you think, which is, I'm more than happy to do. I love this. I love the idea that someone would value what I have to offer. And I just like analyzing wrestling in like kind of, it's a science, like there's things that work psychologically. There's things that work even just with like the way motion works and everything like that, the things you're trying to communicate with tempo and sound and all these things, like all these real fine points that I love working on. And I'll get this thing where someone will write me and say, hey man, what did you think? Or can you watch this? And I do. I sit down and I get my little notepad and I watch and I'll be making notes minute to minute. I'll be pausing. I think, and then I'll come back and I feel like I can offer this really detailed sort of thing. And no one, I'm not telling people they have to agree with me, right? You know, there's this, you know, horses for courses, fucking flavors of ice cream, whatever, however people want to fucking put it these days. But when someone asks for my feedback and then tells me essentially, a lot of the time, rather diplomatically, because people are spineless, that, yeah, thanks, but no thanks. And even insinuate that I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know. I feel like I've picked something up in fucking 19 years. I think I've got something to offer. And then to sort of, you go out of your way to ask me, I go out of my way and use my time up. And then
100%.
And it's people who have fucking were not in the business when I left. And in that time I've been away. Yeah, so I just
this time it's correct, right?
It's just a little frustrating, and I really wouldn't mind if people just don't ask. don't ask for my fucking time if you don't want to don't want help. But certainly, man, if you're like less than 5 years in the business and you're going to tell me how it is now, that's the thing, man, right? So there's this fucking idea that the wheel has been reinvented, and I just don't get it. They've figured out a new way to build a car without even fucking learning how to drive. Shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. You haven't reinvented shit because you haven't learned the basis of what you're trying to fucking reinvent. Just simple stuff I feel like wrestling, when it's good, even, you can watch something like I think a good example is AEW, right? They have stuff that maybe isn't necessarily my taste. Some people enjoy it, sure. But there is a theme where things are kind of in this smashing kayfabe kind of, hey, we're all in on this, guys. Hey, you know that you're in on it, fans. And there's that sort of not taking it seriously. But when shit on that is taken seriously, when you've got someone like MJF or CM Punk or, Samoa Joe, these really solid workers that take this shit seriously, they don't realize how into it they're getting, suspension of disbelief requires a certain level of, you've got to take
Intensity.
shit seriously,
Yeah,
intensity, all those things.
Well, apparently, wasn't there I was reading somewhere that there was an alleged incident, I think it was last year, between Eddie Kingston and Sammy Guevara, where Eddie Kingston fucking bitch slapped Sammy or something like that backstage, which is kind of, it's unprofessional, but that's some old school fucking shit right there. That's that's some Brody type shit, man.
I think, right, and you may know this, but I think the disagreement was that he got pissed off that Sammy had called him fat or something in a promo, and
which is
he didn't take kindly to it. Was Sammy supposed to be a heel at the time?
I think he was in the in-between stage of going from face to heel at the time.
Figuring out that he's unlikable. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I figured AEW out was unlikable in the first 5 minutes. So just it's not my cup of tea. That's all I'm saying. But
like I said, man, there's some good shit in there, but it's there's some really good shit. I mean, there's less good shit now that Punk's out of there, but that's how it goes.
100%. But I'll tell you this though, man. Taking it back to people that that don't take it seriously and that are coming to you and asking you for advice, and then sort of going, but. Do you feel like they're more looking for validation than as far as being critiqued?
Absolutely. Everyone just wants to be told that they're doing a great job. Keep it up, kiddo. Keep doing exactly what you're doing because you don't need to change a bloody thing. And that's how I think I think that's been a real thorn in the side of the scene, the industry, the business, however you want to call it. Like, you can't just flat out say, hey man, that particular thing wasn't very good. How about we try this instead? Or how about you just don't do that particular thing that wasn't very good? You can't have it, because it gets read as like unwarranted criticism, or you're just like bullying or having a go at them for no reason. And I don't know, man. Like, I think that bullying was the best thing to happen to me when I started wrestling. Like, giving shit about my look, my fitness level, the work that I was doing. Hey, that looks stupid. Never do that again. Like, that sort of stuff. That was just normal. That was just feedback, and a lot of the time was given to you in, like, very, rough sort of way. But honestly, man, I think that it helped me a lot. I'm really happy with like my progression through the years. I still think I've got stuff to learn. I mean, maybe I don't have a huge number of years in the ring right now, but fuck it, man. I'd like to be the best I can be by the time I finish.
Oh, 100%, dude. But I feel like, in a lot of ways, like, I think different coaching styles match different personalities as well. Like, if you have
Absolutely.
a level of high intensity, like, I had a boxing trainer who was a coach, and he would like swear, Piers, get your fucking ass up. Fucking like just screaming obscenities. And I'd be like almost passing out, get it, push. And then just like, I found that shit would motivate me, you know what I mean? Because I was like, oh, fuck. I mean, it'd push me, but like you could see other people would just sort of like close off completely and just be like, you know what I mean? And those people would just sort of start appearing less and less, you know what I mean? So I feel like as a trainer, you've got to really have a good balance of understanding who your students are coming in, right?
Absolutely. But, by the same token, like, combat sport is not for everyone. Like,
100%.
not everyone has to be babied into doing it. You're not going to get the best out of it. You're not going to learn it right. Like, fighting is fucking crazy, dude. It's the fucking craziest thing I've ever seen it done. And like, if you're not mentally prepared, like, to be tough doing that, you're fucked. Like, you're going to get really badly hurt. And so, if a coach is a bit mean to you, but you learn from it, that's better than, having your arm twisted out of the socket or having your teeth kicked down your throat.
100%. And you know what? Like, that's one thing I asked that coach of mine. I was like, how come you do that? Like, what do you do? He goes, mate, I'm training fighters. He goes, if you want to get complimented, go do a dance class with your wife. Like, mate, honestly, he goes, if you can't take fucking someone yelling at you to hurry the fuck up and move your fucking ass, then maybe you shouldn't be here. Because like, how are you going to survive in the ring? You know what I mean? Like that was his mentality. And it's like, you know what I mean? Like, and I've seen different coaches do different things. Like I've seen, another coach who's an absolute sweetheart at training. But the thing is, he gets the best out of his, like, man, he got the best out of me when I trained with him. And I also, the other guy got the best out of me as well. So it was like the two different contrasts, but it's like two completely different styles right there.
Yeah, absolutely. But like, it's one of those things. I guess it's kind of like a balancing act. It's like landing a helicopter. You just got to get the right spot at the right speed, the right altitude, all that shit. When it lines up, though, let's fucking go.
I think Millennium Man must have watched our previous interview.
What's that? Mud
He
shows.
said, let's work these mud show workers into a shoot.
Hey, buddy.
Oh man, that was actually pretty funny. That was pretty funny.
Hey,
that was.
we've got a lot of mud shows going on lately, Piers. What the fuck? Have you? Mate, I barely even pay attention, but I have social media and I'm plugged into wrestling stuff, so it comes up. And my word, okay, let's preface this first with an apology, like a genuine, heartfelt apology, right? When we last spoke on the subject of what some people might call mud shows, other people call it ultra-violent deathmatch wrestling, hardcore wrestling, whatever you want to call it. I think that maybe I misspoke. I said that, sure, it can be good, but there's a lot that isn't. And I'd like to retract that statement and replace it with a new one if possible. And that is, deathmatch wrestling is 100% fucking garbage and stupid, and nobody should do it because it is like, come on, man. We got people going to hospital and shit now. We got people that are doing these shows that don't have good medical care on hand. Like, are we going to keep doing this retarded shit until someone meets an unfortunate end, until someone gets paralyzed, until someone bleeds to death? Like, come on, guys. Just work a wrestling match, hey? Let's put down the light tubes. Let's put down the glass. Let's put down the barbed wire. Doesn't need to happen. That's my stance.
I mean, like, why do you think that these people that do deathmatch wrestling do what they do?
I mean, why does anyone do wrestling in the first place? Like, for me, I guess if I had to assess it and put it into words, it would be, I like the physicality of it. I like the performance aspect of it. I like making, bringing people along for the ride on something, and like that cool feeling you get out of like, okay, the people like that. Okay, the people really hated me for that. Like there's something in that. And I think you can do that without picking up some piece of garbage to hit your opponent with. Like, especially when it's done in a way like, mate, I've seen fucking videos of people, like, it's just people standing there, clearly completely gassed and out of breath, gently tapping each other on the head with light tubes. Like, who are you doing that for, man? Like, why don't you, work a bit on the cardio, work a bit on the technical wrestling? I'm sure you can have a fantastic match. If you love wrestling, there's a way for you to learn to do it well. And like, physically actually hurting each other, physically actually cutting each other in an uncontrolled way, like, does it need to happen? How much does it need to happen? Like,
Sure.
Is it drawing heaps of money? Is it drawing heaps of bums to seats? Like, you might know better than me, but in my limited understanding,
to me, look, I was a big fan of deathmatch wrestling when I was younger, because I think it was like, during that time of the late 90s, early 2000s, everything was hardcore and extreme and shit like that, right? In the world of wrestling. And pretty much in the world. As I got older, I do enjoy certain deathmatch wrestling, but now it's like I could sit and watch a whole deathmatch show. I watch certain deathmatch workers and what they do that I like. You know what I mean? Like the workers I like the Nick Gage, the Alex Colognes, the Mad Dogs. You know what I mean? Like, people that are good at what they do. And they, they do deathmatch wrestling, but they do it really well. I watched a show where Colin Delaney, who was a former WWE wrestler,
I know that guy, yeah,
turned up on an XPW show, did a death match, and like, to be honest, it was a death match show, so every match was a death match, and I turned it on for something to watch, and it was like, one of the things that saw is like the first match was like just blood and guts, like it was just garbage. But when Colin Delaney came out, it just made a lot more sense. Like, it was like the light tubes and all that sort of stuff didn't come into play until probably the last couple of minutes. And the thing was, they had the whole crowd suspenseful. And to me, it's like, that's cool, because it's like, you can work things around. Yes, you can have a death match, you can use things, but make them make sense. Like, one thing I don't understand in deathmatch wrestling is when there's two people standing there, opponents, and they're just standing there. One's going hit with the light tube, the other one hits with the light tube, and they're just doing that. Like, why the fuck would anyone just stand there and just go, okay, bang, and just do that? Like, in what normal world? Like, it doesn't make sense to me to do it. So I disconnect from it and go, that's too much bullshit.
What do you think the appeal is, though? Like, what
I think the appeal,
for instance, what draws you in?
Look, man, it's something different. It's the shock factor. It's the underground thing. It's the fact that it was not what you see on mainstream wrestling, right? So I think that's what draws a lot of people in. Like I said, for me now, I enjoy deathmatch wrestling, but it depends who's wrestling, who the workers are, and stuff like that. Like, will I go and watch a random deathmatch wrestling match? Sometimes, because something might be good on it. Like, there's a guy over, I'm trying to remember his name, Atticus Koga I like his sort of style. I think he's got a good gimmick, good look,
Mm-hmm.
and he's
Mm-hmm.
predominantly a deathmatch worker. But
Mm.
you know, the thing I have the problem with is just the garbage and the bullshit, and you know, the ones that don't look the part of a professional wrestler that come out that are out of shape, as you said. You know.
Mm. And you know what the thing is too? It's beyond that. In that, like, and me, when I was younger as well, and it would have been that sort of maybe late 90s, early 2000s era where I would hang out with my mates and we'd have some drinks and we'd go, oh, fuck, let's watch this CZW Cage of Death or something like that, right? And
Yeah.
I think that was around the Nick Mondo era. Remember Sick Nick?
Yeah.
And like, how long was his career? 2-3 years?
4.
4. And then
Mm.
like he had to quit because he was so badly fucked up. Like I don't
No,
know if that's worth it.
no.
Is that a work?
No. So yeah. So basically, he got into the business
Sure.
and only had a goal to be in it for a short period of time. Like he had no
Okay.
long-term aspirations. Like he was a filmmaker, and he did a movie about years ago called Unscarred, and
Yeah,
and
I
like he
watched that.
always everywhere he went he had like a camcorder, and even like I've
Mm,
spoken to wrestlers who knew him
mm,
and who did shows with him back in the day, said everywhere he went he was always filming shit. Like he
mhm.
always had his camcorder. He was like
So
every
this
step of
was
the
like
way.
a film project for him rather than a wrestling career. Is what you're telling
Oh,
me?
no. So for him, when he got into wrestling, right, he was
Yeah,
like, I'm going to fucking do the most extreme shit that I can,
yeah.
because he got fucked up by a preacher at church who sat down and said to him, hey man, who sat down and said to the congregation, explain how Jesus died on the cross and explained this graphic detailed death. And he
Mm.
said, and I've seen him say in a documentary, that didn't sit well with him, that someone would take that punishment for his misdoing or some shit like that, and then he ends up going and doing the whole deathmatch wrestling thing and sacrificing himself, because as a teenager he was doing some like fucked up stunts and like backyard shit, jumping into barbed wire and just
Yeah.
crazy shit, right? Not your
Mm.
normal like teenage antics. But yeah, he got into the business, did 4 years and was out, man. You know.
So the whole storyline of him being like badly injured and fucked up is a work, total work. I've been worked.
Mm.
Damn,
Here,
he got me.
he did, he got you, bro. What
What's this?
Millennium Man? Tyson, if you want to improve the scene, why are you sticking your finger up Zuko's ass on an APW show in front of 40 people?
Well, that didn't happen, so that's a dud question.
Yeah, Millennium Man likes to throw out some random shit sometimes, I think, bro. But man, look,
Fair
I
enough.
think, yeah, man, moving right along. But
I don't know what he thinks he's watching, but that is not a spot that
hey,
I'm going to call.
yeah, I was gonna say, bro, I don't think I've ever seen you call that spot, bro. Maybe that's not the
That's
shows I'm working.
yeah, no, it's a Zuko thing, but there's no way that I would. No, not even ironically.
But yeah, man. So making some pretty harsh statements about the deathmatch wrestling scene, man. Did you get contacted by anyone after our interview about that?
Nah, nah. Like I don't know. Like um, I heard the other day that there were some workers on a show that got quite badly hurt. There was nobody on scene medically qualified to help them, and hey, maybe I'm getting worked again. Who knows? But
Mm,
one or both of them had to seek professional medical help, and I don't know. I just don't think it's worth it, and I don't think it's entertaining enough to warrant doing it.
mm.
That's
I mean,
my
like how
stance.
big a crowd? How big a crowd are they drawing these shows? Like, are they drawing the same amount of crowds, if not bigger, than what like a non-deathmatch show would get?
I don't know if it'd be bigger, but I think that like your, you know, classic style of wrestling is a bit more. It's drawing more.
Yeah.
You know, like MCW down in Melbourne's drawing quite well. I don't know if they're chucking people through sheets of glass down there. Maybe they are. Maybe I'm completely out of touch. It's been it's been put to me that that may be the case.
Really?
Mm.
Some of the youngins have told you to step aside, have they?
Oh, buddy. I'm old. You know, I'm old.
Come on, brother. Come on, brother. You're younger than me. Don't say that shit.
Yeah, no, I'm old, and as a result, I don't need to be taken seriously. So I think that the best promos have a little bit of truth to them. Yeah, just a little bit, because it helps draw people in, right? A little bit of truth. And there was a promo that got released this week. Young Jimmy Townsend. Another match coming up. If you'd like to see me in action, I've got a match with Jimmy Townsend on the 24th at 99 on York in the city, CBD. Should be good. Anyway, he cut a promo for this event. And, you know, it's the whole thing. Like, he wants to call Tyson out for the, or call me out for the title defense and things like that. There was some, I guess, throwback to a promo that I did a few years ago. Gosh, I'm not going to say how many, because then it's just going to add ammunition to the I'm too old to do this argument. And I don't know, like, I guess it came off okay, but like, my criticism would be, if you're supposed to be the good guy and you're supposed to get good guy vibes out of this contest with me, and I'm the piece of shit, then bringing up and saying that my age and my dusty old knees are going to be a factor into why you're going to beat me and you're going to run circles around me doesn't wash with me if you're trying to be the better man, if you're trying to be the more honorable competitor. Let's say that person that you talk that much shit about and yeah, he's a non-event because of his age and his knees. What if you get beaten? How do you come out of that better? You know, how do you, and if you do beat him, what did you gain? You beat someone that was very easy to beat, right? Like, there's no real function to it.
Yeah.
Mind you, if it really came down to it, I think that if I wanted to, I could take this guy down, hold him down, and dangle my nuts in his fucking mouth. But that's neither here nor there, is it? Yeah. So we'll see. Thursday night, 24th, Club York. If you want to see that kind of thing, pay the admission. Maybe you'll get to see that.
Man, I don't know if you just worked me, if you're genuinely upset about his promo or not, but regardless, man, you just got a promo on the show. So hats off to you, brother. Hats off to you.
We will see. We'll see how serious I am, Piers.
Yeah, man. Absolutely, bro. You know, like you're in shape, bro. You're all money. That's for sure, man. So, but man, like, how did you like? I gotta say, man, your match against DJ Sonic at the last EWA show, dude, that was great. That was a great match. Like, that was time limit.
Thank you.
That was like, honestly, such a joy to call and a pleasure to be there to call it. How is it working with DJ?
I liked our first match a lot. It just flowed so nicely, right? And I think that the finish was good. So the idea, right? And we got our second match, and then, the idea is we keep progressing on to a new one. And basically, I tried to escalate things, right? From a storyline perspective, I want to escalate things. I want to get some personal vendetta, some personal heat. So, like, when a guy talks about a guy's family and, it says personal shit that's just completely out of line to say.
Yeah.
That man needs to get his fucking head kicked in, right?
100%.
That's what I think.
That to me was one of the things when I saw that promo live, I was just going, gosh, shit. You know what I mean? Like that's the next level because it's like, especially to that crowd, which is such a like a big family orientated crowd. So you know what I mean? Like it pulls the strings a lot of the men in the audience as well. So
Well, that's the idea, man. If I attack your honor, come and get me. Don't stand there looking at me. Don't stand there. Don't run around slapping bloody hands. Come and fucking get me, for God's sake.
mm,
That's my only pushback on that. Other than that, I had a good time. It was good to work with Benny English. Actually, I don't get to do that enough.
yeah, dude, like that was a surprise. That was honestly, that was the first time I got to meet Benny. You know, and you know, we got to have dinner after the show as well, man. I really like Benny. Benny's a good dude, man. But how did the whole connection with you and Benny come into it, man? Like, is I know he's like from Melbourne or from the UK originally, but based in Melbourne for a majority of his time. But
Yeah,
how did it come to be with having him on your show, or having him with you on the show?
mate, we've known each other a long time. I used to go down and work with him for what's the name? Warzone, pardon me. And basically, you know, you just get to know people, and like we kind of have a similar philosophy on a lot of things, and we like, you know, the same type of wrestling stuff. And yeah, we've kept in touch ever since. And you know, he's a good friend of mine. And at the same time, he's genuinely like helped manage me. He's helped, you know, hey man, come talk to this person, and then we go and we go work there. And you know, yeah, I actually owe a lot in the comeback of Tyson Gibbs this year, this past 12 months, to Benny. Not just his help in the ring and behind the scenes, but also like, you know, just those bits of words of encouragement you need sometimes, and you know, get excited to go work the gig and get the best out of me. So yeah, Benny, if you see it, hey pal.
It's funny because like he wasn't on our run sheet at all, so we're sitting there going like, did he say his name was Johnny English? So like,
I think
and I went
I
back and I
heard that.
apologized to him after the show. As a shoot, I went to him. I said, "Bro, I'm so sorry. I think I called you Johnny." He's like, "Don't worry about it, pal."
It works, right? You don't have to get a heel's name, right? I mean,
Yeah, 100%, man. But
yeah,
no,
man.
like it was definitely a cool pairing to seeing the two of you there, man. So, do you think you're gonna have him accompany you on more shows?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a distance thing, and like, you know, everyone's got their own shit going on. But yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think he adds a lot of value to the act for sure.
Yeah, definitely. No, definitely. But you know, for yourself, man, like what else is been going on with you, like as far as like doing the training stuff, and
Mm.
also, you know, getting out more on the wrestling side of things. You know, what promotions are you actively trying to get on contact and get on shows with?
Man, I mean, I'm focusing because I've got like the whole thing going on with the school and attached to AWS and stuff. You know, I'd like to sort of be there in that locker room and sort of help
Mm,
push things up. And in that little pocket of the world, maybe we can, you know, bring something different, something that's a bit more, you know, not. I hate using like traditional and like just like fundamental, like nothing too
yeah.
crazy, nothing too silly, just like, you know, some dudes clobbering each other with a good reason to do so. Um, IWA is always going to be home. That's where I've been working for like 19 years now. It's where I started. It's where I've done the vast majority of my matches. And so, yeah, it's always going to have a very special place in there. But man, I'm open to virtually anything. I think rather than looking at promotions, it's just like individual matches and things like that. Like I like the idea of working with a wide variety, especially like if I can clash like styles a bit, in a way that works, obviously. But I think that someone like Tyson, working with someone, I don't know, someone a bit more family friendly, I guess, works. I think that generates like a really good dynamic and a good chemistry. Fly Guys, Fly Guys is my first round match on next Friday, so that's a clash of styles, I think.
100%.
Mm,
100%. I mean,
yeah,
like, do you find now with like wrestling and certain shows as well, like, are you willing and do you have an interest in wrestling women as well? Like, because
nah,
intergender wrestling now is such a big thing in the world.
no, no. I I think that the intergender wrestling thing, like, I don't know, it doesn't work. I think, like, at least in my specific case, definitely doesn't work. Like, most of these chicks are like half my weight. Like, it could work in a one-off thing, but like to just treat it like it's a regular match, like I feel like that there is like, if you're gonna use it, it's a gimmick. It's an attraction in itself. It's not, you don't just go, yep, there's another match, fucking whack that on the card. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
I don't want to, and I don't think I'm coming from a place of like discrimination or whatever negative spin people are going to put on. It's that the idea of a man fighting a woman, I don't really like, you know, like I don't,
Mm.
I just don't think, especially if you're going to put that in front of kids and stuff like that, I just don't feel good about it. I don't think it's nice.
I think it's from like an older generation, I think, as well, because it's like, for me growing up, it was always like, you don't hit girls, you don't raise your hands to girls. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that, that was basically a thing. I can kind of like, watch wrestling though and go like, okay, I could see two amazing professional wrestlers have a match, and it doesn't matter of the gender of these two competitors. The thing
Mm,
is, to me, is if it makes sense. Like, I think
mm,
you can make it make sense. And
mm,
like, if you're having a female wrestler who's 5'4" wrestling a guy
mhm,
who's 6'8",
mm.
you know what I mean? Him bumping all over the ring and her getting a clean pin
Yeah,
in 2 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, work. You know what I mean? Like, there's a way to work around it. It's wrestling, bro. Like, Rey Mysterio could beat
100%.
fucking like Big Show Kane and fucking Great Khali in one night. So like, anything's possible in the world of wrestling, right? Like, but
Mm.
make it believable. That's the whole thing that I look at
Do it for a good reason. Have a
it.
good motivation. Have a good reason to do it. Sure. Like you say, anything is possible. Um, I don't think that there's women lining up to work a match with Tyson Gibbs anytime soon. Um, so yeah, I think it would. I think that in a context like we've had it, like, when you have your mixed tags and things like that, and it gets to a point in the match where like the woman is isolated and like, in jeopardy at the hands of the male opponent, like that's a really good storytelling mechanism, like a really good
Mm,
way of like generating some tension, some jeopardy, some stakes,
sure.
but just chucking it out there like, here's another match, I just don't agree with that.
Yeah, look,
i,
man,
I
it's fair
think,
enough, man. And I think everyone's entitled to their opinion, man. I think
yeah.
it's one of those things. It's wrestling is so subjective that what
Mm.
what one person might like, the other person may not like, and hey, man, that's cool. That's how the world works, right?
Yeah. I think there's probably a lot of dudes that enjoy working with someone very tiny, and then they like see those chicks taking those enormous bumps and like,
Mm,
you know, I don't know. Don't know how I feel about that particularly. It just, yeah, it just doesn't sit right for whatever reason. But mate, I'm just too old fashioned. I just don't get it. I don't understand
yeah.
these things, Piers.
Hey, man, that you know what? Like, it's just that's the way that the world works. We got
Yeah.
Lazar in the chat
Okay.
firing off. Most matches between men and women look stupid as it is unrealistic. I've seen women work well with men, however, like Jeff Jarrett in China back in the day. Yeah, man,
Yeah.
I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of great women wrestling.
Hmm.
Some men here in Australia, and it's been very good. It's been very believable.
Hmm.
Um, I've seen some stuff as well, like internationally here, everything like that, that hasn't been that good as well. So like, there's good and bad
Man,
in every type. There's good and
literally
bad in every type of wrestling, bro. Like we can sit here and pick apart fucking everything if we really wanted to do that.
yeah. Oh, mate, with these hot button issues and with these topics that people have a potential to get quite upset about, we can just sit on the fence and weigh it up, both sides of it, and say, well, I guess some people can see it that way, and here's how I feel about it. But if you don't feel that way, that's fine. That's the safest option, isn't it? Don't want to be too polarizing, do we?
No, man, not at all. I think it's an interesting way, but Millennium Man has a question. He said, "Who said you were too old-fashioned? Did you get worked into a shoot by a promoter, fan, or wrestler?"
All of them, all of the
Yeah,
above.
all of
They've
them,
worked me
all
into
of
a
them. Bro.
shoot.
Yeah, yeah,
He's,
because Gibbs is the most workable person I know.
I am.
If you can,
I
yeah, you're
absolutely
very
am.
workable, man. Yeah,
I'm always
so
shooting anyway, pal. You don't have far to work me to get me there. Always.
100%, bro. You're always
Hand on the
point,
hip,
man.
finger on the trigger. That's me.
Oh shit. Always ready to shoot. Hey man, the heat you make in summer keeps you warm in winter, bro, as I always say.
Yeah, man. It's not going to be sunny all year.
But man, like, what do you think is going to be like? Do you think is actually? You know what? Let me ask you this: what do you think is missing in the Australian wrestling scene right now?
What's missing? Professionalism. Even the indie scene in like the States and stuff like that has a level of professionalism that I don't think you see here, because you've got a lot more access to people that have, been in the business for a very long time. They know the principles of what works, how to promote, how to book matches, how to book cards, how to book long-term angles and things like that. You don't get that here because so much of wrestling here is booked by fans, or it's wrestled by fans who are either untrained completely, undertrained, or I don't know, whatever the third option is. But like, I think that to improve the scene, everything needs to get more professionally presented. Everyone needs to get to a more professional level through repetition, through practice, through seeking out, learning from people that, have been there and have done that. And, I mean, sure, maybe there's a place for it to be like a social club where just some friends get together and they do their thing and then their friends come and watch. And okay, sure. But in terms of improving the scene and making it better for everyone here to, maybe make more money, maybe get more opportunities because our scene here gets noticed more by more eyes internationally and things like that. I think that it could definitely benefit from. Let's do some hard work. Let's do some, take a hard look at it and see what needs to be improved. Realistically, treat it that way instead of just going, great job at the end of every show. Let's pull it apart. Let's see what didn't work. Let's fix that. Yeah, I think that would be my most. Yeah, go on.
Do you feel like there's like promotions out there and like, and I don't really want to name promotions, but like, you know what I mean? Like we say it off air and stuff like that about a certain promotion that runs, and it's just sort of started to run a couple of shows here and there, and it's like, does it just get to the point where like someone needs to step in and go like, bro, this needs to stop? Like, you know what I mean? Like, from what I hear about the shows, and the promoter is a nice guy. Like, he's a very nice person. I think you know where I'm talking about, right?
Probably, but like, there's probably a few exactly like in this circumstance anyway.
Yeah, true. I mean, I think as well, there definitely is. But like, I think as well, like we need to, like as you said, up the professionalism, but also up the standard as well.
100%.
Like,
It's completely unregulated now. There's no regulatory body at all. When I was starting, man, everything had to go through sport and rec. It came under the same classification as like, running boxing and all that sort of stuff. Mate, back in my day, it was illegal to have a man and a woman in the ring at the same time.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't do it. Yeah. So
but is that for a professional wrestling match that you couldn't?
It was Yeah. Because it was treated the same as like, like a sport, like boxing and fighting, anything like that. Like as far as I understand, it was under the same umbrella. And sport and rec was the ones that covered it. And you had to have all your insurance up to date, and you had to have like, you know, everything had to be above board. And there
Mm.
was a standard. Now there's no standards. You don't even need a fucking ring, mate. In we go.
Yeah, I mean, it's wild and crazy to see, bro. And what's interesting as well, like I'm not sure if you saw this, but like a couple weeks back, there was this Fed in Melbourne, right?
Mm,
And like they've never run a show, like they've promoted shows, but they've cancelled shows last minute or whatever they've done.
okay.
And one of these fans, like one of the fans asked and said, "Hey, like what the fuck's going on? Like, are you guys ever gonna have a show?" Like,
Mm.
something along those lines. Then the promoter DMs the fan and then says, "Fuck you, you piece of shit. Stop coming on my company's page and talking shit, or I'm going to track you down. I've been looking to find a little like you to beat the ass out of." It was like, it was homophobic, it was aggressive, it was savage. And then it was just like, bro, bro. And
So,
this promotion, get this, it gets funny. They train people at the local park, allegedly.
oh, okay.
And
That's
I got
that's that's a new
and I've
level.
been told,
Mm.
no, it's not Melbourne, it's Adelaide, sorry.
Oh,
Adelaide.
okay. Yeah.
I've been told as well that one of the workers has stolen the gimmick name of one of the current workers for one of the top feds in Adelaide.
What do you mean? Wait, I've got to get my head around this. So there's a
Yeah,
Fed
bro.
that has never run a
Well,
show.
apparently it's done now. Like they've announced they're not going to run anymore and shit like that. But
Have they run
there was
any?
a Fed. No, they never run a show. Apparently, this has been going on for fucking years.
That's awesome.
I've only
Okay,
just
so
I've only just seen about it and heard about it, and I've just been like, it's fucking too funny
so
not to talk.
so they wanted to run a show. The promoter wanted to run a show. They didn't run any shows. And then when someone said, "Hey, you're going to run a show," he personally attacked this person online by a DM, and now they've gone, "Thanks everyone, we're not going to run any more shows, even though we've run none." Is that
Bro, I can't even remember the name of it. I think I don't want to mispronounce it because there's so many different feds popping up. But
okay?
like, if you throw the name out there, bro, like I'll you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to throw it out on air live just because, and I'm
Someone put
addressing
it in the
that to
comments.
Millennium.
Put it
Someone
down
put
there
in
in the
the comments
comments.
because yeah, I'm not, don't want to say it because there's two names that are similar and I don't want to say the wrong one.
You don't want to say the wrong one. You don't want to accidentally associate the wrong people with that shit. Fucking hell.
100%, bro. That's the thing. But yeah, like that, like when you see shit like that, bro, like what are your thoughts on it?
Well, if they're training people in the park for the show that hasn't happened, it won't happen. That's kind of like a weird little obscure comedy skit or something about the scene. Like, oh, imagine if this happened, but apparently it actually has happened. It is happening or whatever. Man, I don't know. This is what I mean. Like, there is a level of anything, whether it be dancing or basketball or fucking archery or cooking, whatever, where people just do it for fun, right?
Yeah,
And if they're just doing it for fun and it's not hurting anyone, and like I highly doubt that anything that's doing things this zany and unprofessionally, I don't think they're drawing. I don't think that they're getting in front of people, so it doesn't tarnish the industry too much. I mean, it's not a great idea, but fuck, they may as well be doing it in their backyard or in their lounge room, or you know what I mean? Like, okay, it's weird that you even found out about it. Basically, like I don't even know how
mm.
that came about. How did they get so publicized that you heard about it? Is it just like a
Bro.
random tale from the internet, or
No, so the fan, right? The fan took the screenshot, bro, of the message and fucking posted it in the Australian wrestling community page and fucking tagged the guy and the Fed in the company as well with the screenshot of this photo. And bro, it was like
that fan needs to win an award for being the greatest, most dedicated fan of professional wrestling or anything really, to even find out about this in the first place, to be inquiring, hey, when are you running how does anyone hear about this stuff?
Well, bro, like it's the wrestling scene, it's like promotion and stuff like that, man. People
are actual workers on the cards?
The ones I saw, I'd never heard of.
Okay, so they were probably trained in the park.
I think.
Hey, if they did a show in the park,
I've heard they've reached out to people. Like I've spoken to people they've reached out to. I think someone told me they actually like promoted them without actually contacting them as well. So I'm not 100% on that one, but yeah,
man, I reckon that happens everywhere for sure. Like everywhere.
Carney as fuck, bro.
That's proper backyard, right? And if they did a show in the park and it like rained a bit, it would be a legit, like literal mud show.
But you know what? Like if it did rain and it's an outdoor show, I've got the perfect name for the show.
Okay, let's go.
Here Comes the Rain.
Okay.
Mate. Come on, tell me I'm not on the money, bro.
There's no money in that, I'm afraid. No money for Here Comes the Rain. The greatest mud show extravaganza Adelaide's ever seen, apparently.
Yeah. But dude, like that's where we're looking at certain promotions that are popping up and you're seeing that sort of shit, man, which is unfortunate, man, because I think there's so much good wrestling here in Australia and so many good Australian performers, and we're seeing them being recognized on an international level and so forth. But it's like when that sort of bad shit happens and people go and type in Australian wrestling and that shit pops up, you know what I mean? Like that's pretty fucking sad, bro, if that's people's international view on the world about what we do here,
I don't know if it is. I think that like when I just talk to regular people, like not wrestling people, and they like the topic comes up at some point, professional wrestling, a lot of people don't even know what happens here, like normal everyday punters, people that aren't seeking it out, they don't even know. Like their whole
bro,
world.
so many people I've interviewed, bro, like wrestlers and workers, when they before they broke into the business, didn't even know that wrestling existed in the country.
Yeah.
Like Gavin McGavin from WA, he was like, I had no fucking idea. Like,
yep. Yeah, man. So, I mean, there's that. And then like, I think that when it comes to the guy not running shows and yelling at potential fans, like, man, I don't think that's even a blip on the radar of the international view of the industry over here, if they have one at all.
Nah, 100%.
I think that, the people in the industry now, I mean, they know that we're here. They know they're doing stuff here. I mean, you can't avoid it because there's so many like Australians getting signed to major promotions. You've got people in AEW, people in WWE. That's the two biggest companies in the world right now. And that doesn't even scratch the surface of all those guys going over to Japan and stuff like that, So
yeah, no, 100%. And it's just like it brings more eyes on the product. And there's so many good promotions out there. And it's like you're seeing some like, honestly, I think we've got some of the best like women talent in the world here in Australia. And I think tag team as well. I think tag teams are definitely some of the best that you see. So Status 2 wants to ask thoughts on the current Queensland scene. Do you know much about the Queensland scene, Tyson?
My only real experience with the Queensland scene is UPW over there. And I have been up there a few times to work with them, and they're a cool bunch of people. Their shows are really well produced, really good talent. Like I think that like it gets me jazzed up, like when I will be backstage watching a monitor and like getting into a show. And that's
Mm.
something that happens when I go up to UPW. Like I'm watching that shit. Like I'm enjoying that. I'm being entertained by that. So yeah, if anyone out there is not familiar, get onto it. They're really good bunch of guys and girls, really professional. And yeah, I'm looking forward to going back up there again when we can make all the lightning strike twice. But yeah, thoroughly enjoyed up there. That being said, I don't know a huge amount about the Queensland scene. How about you? Do you know much?
I don't, man. I just know that Queensland doesn't get a lot of love. It's almost like it's the redheaded stepchild. Bro, it is, man. Like no one says shit. Like no one shits on it, right? So no one's like saying how bad it is, but it's like no one's like singing his praises. And there's some good workers coming out of Queensland, man. Like, um, you know, like Bobby Bishop and Lucille Brawl. They've got the 3 Count Academy up there, and from everything that I've been told and from what feedback and things I've heard, they're doing things right and got a good bunch of people there training, and there's promotions up there. PWA did a tour there, I think, at the big ending of last year when they did their big tour. So
Okay, yeah.
you
Yeah, I'm. Last time I was up there, I got to have a match with Moko Kai. I think he's probably still their champion. And like it was really ramping up to be a really great match, like amazing intensity. We had good chemistry, bouncing off each other and stuff like that. And then had something go a bit awry, and we had to cut it a bit short. But I'd be keen as to work with him again. 13 up there, really good mobile big man, cool gimmick, cool look. And another match I did up there, you can probably find that on YouTube if you care to watch that. I had a match with Bobby Salsa. That was my first match up there. Really good, fun match, good pace. But like I said, man, those guys are so, at least my experience with all of those guys, like I got to train with them as well, all really technically sound. They all get it, like the things in terms of like timing and building matches and stuff like that. So, yeah, they got a shitload of stuff on YouTube and stuff like that. I think they stream as well. So, anyone out there that's looking for some Queensland wrestling, UPW, check them out.
Yeah, man, 100%. As I said, bro, it's almost like you don't hear a lot of like about it, man, and it's like they have been making some noise recently, man. So, man, I think Australian wrestling in a whole, man, is looking pretty healthy right now, though.
Yeah. Well, I think that we're in a very lucky time right now in that, like, the way the internet works, like this conversation we're having right now is going out to, on multiple different platforms. It can be accessed from anywhere in the world in real time. You know, a lot of shows now are live streamed. You've got the Fight Network that people are putting their shows on and stuff like that. Like, to get eyes on your product now has never been easier. There's no tape traders. There's no like everything's connected. So yeah, I
Also,
think you
like,
can build
sorry, no, finish it.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying you can build a fan base that's not even in your city, state, or country.
Well, it's wild, bro, that you can do that, right? Because if you look back in the day, like it's to go and get signed would be the ultimate goal for a young wrestler, right? And then it's like you get the money, the fame, and hopefully you get a long career and everything like that, and it works out well. But it's like a lot of guys, especially in the last 10, 15 years, haven't needed to go get big money contracts to do this for a living, or you know what I mean? Like they were able to do it. The Australian scene, like, over in the States, they can work every night. Like here in Australia, like, is Australia big enough to have shows every single night of the week?
Mate, if you bounce around, if you network right, you could probably work every weekend. If you're willing to put in the legwork, put in the travel and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, absolutely. And I think maybe if you can't get every weekend or something like that, like, I know people on, the Australian indie level that make pretty decent money, at least a side hustle level of money from merchandise and stuff like that, So yeah, there's opportunities. And like I said, like we've got some really good foundation here. Like you say, you've got some good talent, you've got some good promotions and stuff like that. If we could just tweak that a little bit and, you know, just bring that extra level of professionalism. Let's analyze the business honestly. Let's see what needs work. Let's see where our strengths are. Let's play to those strengths and stuff like that. I think it could only get better, especially for the next generation, the new guys coming up. Like, you know, if you're in your early 20s and starting wrestling right now, I reckon it's a pretty good spot to be in. You've got like the best of a lot of aspects of the industry, like there for the taking.
100%. All you got to do is open your ears, shut your mouth, and do what you're told.
Ah, man. Everyone finds their way somehow. Everyone finds their way somehow.
Oh, that's it, man.
But yeah,
but man, look, you know, like, do you feel like, you know, now, like, as far as because, like you mentioned earlier, is like people asking for advice and not listening, though. Like, are there a certain bunch of young people out in the industry that are paying attention, like are coming up to you and saying, "Hey, Tyson, what did you think?" Okay, no worries. How do I get better at that? What do I do? What do you know what I mean? Like asking those questions where it's like almost like a pain in the ass. You know what I mean? Like, because that's, you know what I mean? Like, they've got to be on that, want to know every single detail. You know what I mean? Like, not in a bad way, in a good way. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, absolutely. Like, yeah, there's some very enthusiastic people. Yeah, 100%. But you know, I've seen people as well that like have something going on that I think, you know, I'll just go up and say, "Hey, man, like this thing was really, really good. How about this for next time?" That sort of thing. And when it sticks, it's a good feeling. It feels like I helped someone. You know, it feels like I, you know, I did something to help people out. Like, and at the end of the day, when I feel like we're moving forward and when we're like raising that level, that's what's buzzing me at the moment, man. Like that's what I'm enjoying a lot of. Like, I'll be real, I don't have a super long time left doing stuff in the ring, but I do like the coaching side of things. I really do. So yeah, like when people ask for feedback, great. When people are doing something cool and then you can come and talk to them about it and like just workshop ideas and throw things around stuff. I love these conversations, you know.
100%, man. It's one of those things. It's like where people, it's when people are passionate, because you can see the passion that you have in for it as well, and it's sort of like you can see that you thrive off that. So it's when people aren't taking this seriously, it's almost like, what? Why are you here, dude? Like, why are you talking to me?
Yeah, but I think that not taking it seriously in a way is like seen as a benchmark or a standard for some people now. Like goofing off and like doing these silly stunts and stuff like that. Like that to them is what wrestling is, because unfortunately there's a lot of people who've sort of grown up missing out on probably the best era of wrestling, I think. Like there's been some really good shit. Still lately, it just seems like we don't have feds with like mega stars like we did back when like you had Prime Undertaker, Prime Rock, Prime Steve Austin, like even like someone like Goldust, who wasn't necessarily like in the, you know, upper echelons of cards or anything like that, but like that would still stand out today, I think. For whatever reason it is, there's that missing X factor that you don't see so much these days. And I think we got lucky to,
you know what?
be able to witness that.
What I think is missing is, and I saw, and I read this somewhere, and I immediately agreed with the statement. And it's not that the wrestling is bad. It's not that the performers are bad. Like, this is on current. It's not that the current wrestling is bad or the current performers are bad, or even that the current creative is bad from like a mainstream level. It's just that it's missing something. Like, it looks very sterile. You look at like a Monday Night Raw, for example, right? Or a SmackDown or a WWE pay-per-view or an AEW show, whatever it may be. It's crisp. It's all very professional. Go back and watch Monday Night Raw, 1997, 1998, 1999. The smokiness in the arena. The grittiness of professional wrestling. And like, when I read this, I was like, this is on the money, bro. Like that, I was reading, I was going, this is fucking, like, it was like automatically, I was like, yes, that is exactly right. It just looks so
different, doesn't it? And it carries a completely different like mood and atmosphere to it with that, like you say, like the thing that was the word in my head when you were talking was smoke. Like, just there's just something about that, all the pyro and shit going off. Now everything's neon and LED screens on every fucking surface, and I don't know. But can I
But
turn a question back on you while we're on that sort of topic?
please do.
What do you think we can do? Like, when I say like professionalism for the Australian scene, what is your take on that? What would improve the scene?
What would be my take on what can improve the scene?
Hmm.
I I look. I said this to you last time that when we had dinner that time after EWA, and I said I feel very fortunate to be involved in this business because I love it. I genuinely love it. I love being on shows. I love being around my friends. I love being able to be part of it. And I consider myself very, very fortunate to be in that position.
Mm.
And I take great pride when I'm booked. And like, you can call me a mark, you can call me whatever the fuck you want to call me. No one's going to call me that shit to my face. But like, the fact of the matter is, like, I take it seriously. The fact is, like, I turn up, I'm professional, I look good, I make sure I'm neat, I make sure I'm tidy, my shoes are polished, my suit is crisp, my tie is nice, my shirt is pressed, my head, you know what I mean? Head's done, shaven, beard is beautiful. You know what I mean? I turn up looking the part
Yep.
of what I'm there to do, whether it be manager, whether it be commentator, ring announcer, whatever it is. I look professional. The thing is that I find as missing is when I see certain people that aren't wrestling performers who don't take it seriously and don't have that sense of pride, whether it's even a referee that does, you know what I mean, that has to use electrical tape to keep his pants up, or a fucking, you know, ring announcer who's got his shirt and unironed and like a fucking, you know what I mean? Shit
Yeah.
like that. That's the sort of thing. Like, bro, you can be, you know, green at doing these things and make mistakes. I've made lots of mistakes doing these things, and I've learned from them because I ask people what I can do to do better. But for the most part, it's like sometimes some of these people, they just don't want to know. They just want to be like, yeah, I get to go in there and fucking scream down a microphone, or fucking, yeah, I get to sit there and do commentary, and yeah, look, I'm fucking part of a wrestling show. But like, bro, like, take the fucking pride, like, put pride into what you're doing, take pride into your appearance, look the fucking part, be a professional. And that's one thing to me, I think. And also, like, I feel like professionally, like, bro, people call it a business, bro, but it's not. Like, it's you know what I mean? Like, bro, like, it's not a business, bro. Like, it's not. Like, you can see that from certain things, the way that either shows are put together, promoted, or whatever the case may be, bro. But like, there's other aspects of it that you sit there and go, man, like, what value does having this person on your show bring?
Yeah.
Like, why are they there? Like, you know what I mean? Like, certain things like that, bro. And I get there's loyalty, I get there's friendships. And you know what? Hey, bro, like, that's fair enough. And this is like, if that's what this is for those people, then cool, man. You do your thing, bro. Like, best of luck.
Sure.
Me personally, I look at it as like, I want to be a professional. So when a promotion books me, they get a professional walking in. They get a professional who will do everything that is asked of them until they leave. And, you know what I mean? Like, you will have 100%, 100% a professional there at your disposal.
Yep.
And that's where
Yeah,
it's like
agreed.
other things that I've seen. That's the thing that gets me. And I think that that's what needs to be looked at. And I think that there needs to be people who want to improve. And if you're going to be in those roles, you got to listen, you got to understand what you need to do it better, and to understand that it's not about you. It's not about that you're the sizzle, you're not the steak. Don't make it about you. Focus on what's happening. And that's where I think, as far as the commentary aspect, needs to improve. But you know, that's looking at some of the more downer grade show. You know what I mean? Like, it's not looking at the sort of
Sure.
top end sort of feds in the country.
But in fairness, like, when that is done, when people do carry themselves in that much more professional, much more, even, it helps become more larger than life. Like, when that does happen, and it does happen in this country, it
Mm.
absolutely does. When it does, it
Yeah.
stands out fucking head and shoulders above stuff that doesn't, people that don't.
Mm.
Yeah, I I guess this is kind of a unrelated part, but like here's a little thing that I would not mind seeing moving forward with like heels and baby faces on shows. It's sort of related, but not really. It's kind of like to carry
Mm.
yourself more like a star is I see too many baby faces every single match on a card. If someone's a baby face, they think that their job is to go out and individually greet every single patron in the front row and high five every single one of them. And I think that that instantly makes you small. It makes you a person rather than this
Yeah.
thing to be, revered. So let's do less of that. Carry yourself like a star. Let people look from afar. Let people wish that they could touch your hand, and they might come back. And the off chance that they might one day. And then heels, same sort of thing. Just kind of the flip side of it is you don't have to cuss out and get super
Mm.
angry at every single person in the front row and yell in their little faces and tell them stupid things. You can do that quietly. You can do that from afar. You can carry yourself in a way that pisses people off instead of getting that cheap heat of trying to start a fight with some stranger. Just for whatever reason, that popped into my mind when we were talking about like the dressing and professionalism and all that sort of stuff. I
Mm.
think that like we can carry ourselves more like stars, and it'll just change the vibe of the whole thing. But that's my take on that. Just sort of
It's funny you said that, bro. Like I saw footage of this show. I think it was in America, and it
mm,
was like this chick, this female valet came out with the man, like the wrestler or whatever, and like they were being the heels, and the valet was like whatever. And then
mm,
the guy, like, I think the wrestler might have spat his gum out at the woman or something like that. But then her
mm.
husband is just like, clean the wrestler up. The
Yeah,
valet's jumped on his back. The guy's wife has grabbed her and just like starts ragdolling the valet. And while the
yeah,
husband is just like pummeling this fucking wrestler. And
yeah.
everyone's just like, what the fuck is going
Well,
on?
as soon as you spit on someone, you've assaulted them, and they're right to punch you back in the face. I think. Like that's
Yeah,
beyond
man, I
working.
agree,
That's just
bro.
like assaulting a stranger. There was a video where someone got like a real mean headbutt from a crowd member too. Hey, did you ever see that one?
Oh,
I
yeah, I
swear
think
it.
so. Yeah.
Maybe this is a false memory and I'm just making shit up. But there was a time where something similar happened. Maybe someone spat on someone or pushed someone or slapped a fan. Some sort of physical interaction took place, and the fan ended up just leaning into this huge headbutt on this wrestler, and like it would have,
Oh,
it would have driven his nose into his face. But yeah, add that to the little lesson there.
I
Don't
gotta check that
touch the fans. Yeah, see if you can find it. Wrestler gets headbutted or something like that. Because
in.
I remember it being a real meaty one.
Oh,
But
oh, dude. But
yeah,
you know what? Like, it's funny because it's like, did you see like the MJF thing? Like the thing where he threw the cup of water at the kid,
yeah.
and
What's
then
your take? What's your take? Because I'm not a fan of that. I didn't like it.
it's a fucking work. The
Would
whole
did
thing
it?
was a work. That kid was a plant, bro.
He definitely was. I don't know.
Come on, bro. Like, nah,
I
bro.
like to
That
think that you wouldn't do that if the kid wasn't a plant, right?
you know what got me, bro, is when
Mm,
and Tony Khan at the press conference fucking addressed it, and he was
yeah.
like, "Well, yeah, blah blah." What Tony Khan, like how he addressed it was like, "Oh well, me and Max had a very stern conversation." It's like what he should say
Oh,
is,
okay. Yeah.
"What."
No.
Yeah, what he should have said is, "That's the conversation we're not going to be having in the public. We're going to take that conversation off air. I've spoken to little boy and his family. They're all good. End of what we're
Yeah.
going to talk about next." And you know what I mean? But he said, "Oh,
Yeah.
he was a real sport about it." Like, bro, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if it was a work, which it was,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think was,
Yeah.
that's the way you handle it to make it you people think that it wasn't a fucking
Yeah,
work.
see, I didn't. I only ever saw the internet buzz around it. Like I saw it, it was some like shit on Reddit about like a wrestling Reddit thing, and it was
Yeah.
just that little clip of the thing, and everyone discussing it. Like, oh yeah, no, they really had to calm these fans down because it wasn't a work. And I was like, oh okay, well I'm not a fan of that,
Yeah,
but.
no, bro. Being a dickhead to fans and doing shit like that is not.
Yo, they're working me back into a shoot again. Here I go.
100%. But you know what? Like I saw like some of the comments online by some of the like wrestling. He should be
Yeah.
stripped of the title and blah 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 blah. And I'm just like, show me you got worked without showing me you got worked. People like,
Yeah. Well, my only context
well
was that
done.
like 3-second clip and then
Mm.
everyone's reaction to it. But yeah, I don't know. Do you think that what's your take? Do you think that someone like yourself who spotted it straight away,
Mm.
does it help or hurt or what?
Bro, it makes him even more of a fucking heel, bro. And the fact that these
Mm,
people are, you know, going, he should be this, he should be that, and he's going, yeah,
mm,
fuck you all, I don't give a fuck, bro.
mm.
He is money. He is
Yeah.
probably the only realist motherfucker in the business at that level, to be
Mm.
honest. You know what I mean? Like, when I say realist, is like he's sticking to the gimmick. He's staying on that level, bro. Like, you
He's
know what I mean?
always in gimmick. Yeah, he kayfabes
Yeah, bro.
everything.
Like he doesn't fucking break that shit. And I think he's probably one of the best promos in the game. I think like
Mm,
he's in ring. He's like he
mm,
just looks like money, bro. He is money.
mhm, mm.
You know.
He came back in mad shape, and then like he was just shit hot right from the get go. I think it's a shame that we didn't get to see like the whole title feud with him and Punk, but
Mm.
but
That's but you know what? Like that's another thing, bro. Social media
yeah,
as well. Like, that kind of destroy. Like you see mainstream, like wrestlers, going on social media and stuff like that, and like being in, storylines being shut down. Do you think like when
mm.
you're getting paid that level of money, like you've got to live the gimmick to a certain extent, like not fully, but like, am I?
I, I
What are your thoughts?
I think that to an extent, like we have to work with like the comment that just came up about let's try and keep that sort of conversation down. Yeah, and I do tend to agree with that. There it is. There, like I do
Mm,
tend to agree with that. But I think that where we're at now, especially like with the internet and like there's so many leaks with things and stuff like that. And yeah, I agree. I really like kayfabe,
mm,
but I think that you can do it in a different way these days, where you can have something that appears to be kayfabe, then someone then you can play along. Oh, it's actually a work, and then no, like you've got these new levels and layers of the work to work with,
mm,
um, and you can if you can keep people guessing. I think that helps to draw people in. That helps to just make everything just so much more engaging and better for the fans in the long run. It's just you've got to use the tools available to you. It's a different time.
mm.
Um,
100%.
so,
And yeah,
so
I
you'll
mean,
see.
like you can use social media to your advantage and you can use it
Yeah,
to your disadvantage, right? Like it's one of those
yeah.
things. It's the root of all evil is social fucking media. But
Oh my god. Yeah, yeah.
you're not like you don't use Twitter or anything, do you? Like
Nah, man. I don't know.
you
I
stay off
don't.
that cesspool.
No, like I have, I have an account to be able to communicate with friends and family members, but
Mm,
like, man, I don't have the time, especially like something that's a bit frustrating is like how important it seems to be a wrestler, and you have to do your social media. You got to post this, you got to post that, you got to interact with
mm.
this, you got to promote this. I'm like, fuck, man, like
It's a
that's
full
just my
time job
thing.
in itself, man. Is like
It's not
doing
something I can
social
be
media.
bothered doing.
Dude, I used to be so fucking anal when it came to my social media, like having shit done, like getting stuff out for
Mm,
podcasts, doing this, doing that.
mm,
And bro, like, you know what? Like, it was running me rampant just getting social media shit out. Now it's just like,
mm,
I get it done when I get it done. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the people that know my show and see when it comes out and stuff like that and who I've got on, they know when it's there and what's going to, you know what
mm,
I mean? Like,
mm.
there's a level of quality to it, but like even now, like I know my social media needs to get better, but it's like, dude, I got 3 kids. You're like,
Yeah,
what I mean?
dude.
There's only so much. Yeah.
Like if anything, the online promotion aspect is probably a bit more important for someone like yourself doing this podcast and getting eyes on it
Mm,
because it's an internet based thing. Sure.
sure. Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. I don't know how much of the online engagement helps to sell tickets to a wrestling show at the level that I'm working,
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, sure, it probably does to a degree, but how
Pay per
meaningful
view
is it? How
buys,
different is it? Sorry.
pay per view buys, maybe. like on Fight TV, shit like that, maybe.
Yeah, probably. Like it helps to get it out to like you say, people that aren't in that particular physical geographical location. I guess at the end of the day, I just fucking can't be bothered.
I'm with you, man. I have to like force myself to do social media sometimes, man. It's one of the things. I love doing podcasts. I love having conversations with fucking people, but all the stuff, the bullshit that goes with it, and the social media stuff, and all that. Yeah, if I could avoid doing that, man, I'd be happy.
Yeah, I mean, you can make shit happen with it. People can get very savvy with it, and they can get a lot of eyes on whatever they're doing. Like not just in wrestling, but in whatever industry that they're doing stuff. Just like there's like an whole art and science to that too.
Oh, 100%, man. It's, but that's the thing. It's like, it's funny when someone turns around. It's like, I saw this meme, and it's like when you meet a woman and she goes, you say, "What do you do for work?" And she goes, "I'm a model on Instagram. What about you?" And you go, "Oh, cool. I'm a soldier on Call of Duty." I figured you'd appreciate that one, bro.
Yes. Yeah.
But
that's
man,
something
like,
I missed the boat on. Anyway,
what's
go on.
that? Social.
Oh,
What?
just being an
Instagram
internet
model?
person. Just being an internet person in general. Anyway,
Yeah.
carry on.
I was just gonna say you were disappointed you couldn't get any Instagram models, or you weren't a
I
soldier.
couldn't be one, mate.
You could have been one. Yeah,
I could have, but I missed the boat, buddy. I could have a very busy OnlyFans business or something like that. I could be making bank, but too old.
Hey man, go to Feet Finder, bro. You might be able to make some.
Yuck! That's something that the internet's brought to our attention, is just how many people are into different things. We'll say.
Oh, bro, tell me about it, right?
And having different opinions on things and different pastimes and stuff.
Hey man, if you can think of it, you can imagine someone's into it. You know what I mean?
If you've thought of it, it's already got an online community, doesn't it?
100%. We got Status Tome who wants to know sorry. Any interest in ever working in Japan?
I would love to, yes. I really like that was another thing that I watched a lot of when I was sort of getting into wrestling and trying to develop like what sort of style I wanted to do, is just that real like sport based physical. I guess, yeah, that's strong style, right? Just like I like the way it was presented. I like the way that I don't know. I've sort of fallen away from watching a lot of different types of wrestling and just kind of focusing on doing our thing. But yeah, like I think it was like Noah and New Japan, and that was sort of. There was a time when that was predominantly what I was watching, and I really enjoyed it. I'd love to go there.
That was fire, man.
I feel like my style would probably translate fairly well there.
I think so. I definitely think so. I think like your style, your gimmick would definitely suit that whole Japanese style over there as well. I think that would probably be into it as well, man. But I know. You think the Mo would be over in Japan?
Oh, mate, I'm taking this everywhere.
Well, God damn,
tour, buddy.
But
yeah,
hey,
no, I'd be keen. Yeah, go on.
No, you go, please.
Oh no, it's just something I'd have to look at. It's just one of those things I never really figured out. And plus, I sort of like, I even went so far as like I was like, okay, I'm going to do this, and then it's one of those things. Life gets in the way, but started learning a little bit of like Japanese and stuff like that in preparation, and then I guess I was like interested, and then like I don't know, I ended up doing other stuff over here, and yeah, but it's probably a good idea to start doing a bit of research, see if there's any openings there.
Oh, absolutely, man. We could be seeing Tyson Gibbs over in Japan very, very soon.
Yeah, man.
But man, look, we've been going for an hour and a half, bro, and it's always a fire conversation when you can look at the time and not even think how quick it's been, bro. But man, as we start wrapping it up here, Tyson, where can everyone find you on Twitter and Instagram, I should say? You're not on Twitter.
Sorry, guys, I don't have a Twitter. You can't tweet at me, and I can't tweet at you.
Where can people find you on social media?
Find me on Facebook at Tyson Gibbs. Search Tyson Gibbs on Facebook. There's a little page there where I'll be posting like whatever events are coming up. I'll be promoting through there, and if you want to get in touch with me about the Australian Wrestling School. You can hit me up there. You can also hit me up on Instagram, the at King Tyson Gibbs. So yeah, drop me a message, even if you just want to say hello. I'll probably say hello back when I get around to it. But yeah, I am keen as, like, if there's any workers out there, if there's any wrestlers out there right now that are keen to get some practice in, to get just get working with different people and stuff like that, and even like just that repetition is going to help improve us all, and let's do that. So hit me up, come and train with me, come and train with the really good bunch of guys and girls there. I'd love to see you all at the Australian Wrestling School sometime soon.
All right, man. There you go, guys. Make sure you go and check it all out. Go and follow Tyson on Instagram. Go check out the AWS Training School, and also their big show next Friday night, which is this Friday night, I should say, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the 17th. Yeah. So
17th. Yeah, it's only a couple of days away.
Go check it out. Go check out their Facebook page for all the details. Their Instagram as well. Australian Wrestling Superstars, and where you can get tickets will all be there. But thank you for everyone for tuning in live. Huge shout out to our sponsor, Sleeves. Appreciate you for keeping the lights on up in this bitch.
Thank you, Sleeves.
Thank you. But guys, until next time, we'll see you again very soon. Take care. All the best. Peace.